All right, so Epilfree is not a new product to the marketplace. We actually launched the first one in 2006, and it was developed by a scientist in Israel by the name of Dr. Yoel Konas. And Dr. Konas was developing a cream for eczema like 20 years ago when they were using a bunch of trial subjects, and they noticed those treating eczema in areas where they had a lot of hair that they didn't particularly want to lose, like their scalp and other areas, that the hair stopped growing in. So at that time, he began to develop what is today known as Epilfree 4th generation. So after he saw what was happening, he made a decision to start putting together a permanent hair reduction product. And in 2006, we launched the first one, which was called NG, or Next Generation. And I was at that very first launch, and it was really interesting because there were a lot of people there with laser. I was just thinking about this last night. There were a lot of people there with laser and all kinds of stuff. And at that time, 15 years ago, I was convinced that laser was going to become antiquated along with electrolysis as soon as people realized what we had here. And at that time, it was really, in the beginning, it was a totally different consistency. It was really harder to do. It took a long time. We'd wrap people up in saran, don't ask. But from there, we progressed to start as NG, and then he created Epilfree, which was just one formulation for every area. And he decided that that wasn't specific enough, so he designed Epilfree 3rd generation, which is one, we have 3 kits, one for the face, one for the body, and one for intimate areas. And at that point, the product was 82% natural ingredients and 18% safe synthetics. And in 2019, we changed out some of the ingredients to raise the percentage of natural ingredients, and we launched Epilfree 4th generation. And the 4th generation has the 7 most cutting edge ingredients in it that are used for natural cures for diseases that have a really fast duplication of cells. So as we know, most people don't go for any natural treatments until they've tried everything medicinal, and we're all programmed that way. We're programmed to trust medicine, medical devices, doctors, stuff like that, and we'll do everything that they have to offer first before we try something else. But the remedies that are natural, or the ingredients that are in this product are the same ingredients that are used for natural remedies for eczema, psoriasis, and even cancer. Anything that has a really fast duplication of cells that's hard to keep up with. And we're just now launching Dr. Konas's formulations for 3 new brands. So-Free for psoriasis, Exa-Free for eczema, and Ac-Free for acne. And we do have the So-Free already, but it's the same type of science. So the science of Epilfree is that it works on an empty hair follicle. Our product consists of 2 serums. The first one is the activator. That's the one, that one is 100% natural. The second one is part B. We call it the toner. That one goes on second. It's 98% natural and 2% beneficial synthetics. And what these serums do actually is stop the duplication of cells in the base of the live follicle. So I'm going to be talking to you more about the stages of hair growth, but laser can only work on an anagen hair follicle. Epilfree works on an anagen hair follicle as well. So once every 4 to 6 weeks, when you start treatment, that's when the most anagen hair is present. The anagen hair is the live hair. That's the hair that Epilfree can treat. That's the hair that laser can treat. The difference, of course, is with Epilfree, we only need an empty follicle. So it makes everything so much easier. I don't know why I'm looking through this book. I do this training every week without the book, but I have new books and I want to kind of involve the new books. So Oh, forget the book. I'm just going to do it. Anyway, so Epilfree now is in most every country globally. We have so many places opening here in the US with it. We have lots of people who've used it since 2006, myself included. And so it's really getting to be well known in the US. So if you're offering in your spa already laser or IPL or electrolysis or all of those, Epilfree is certainly the next tool you want to add to your tool belt. Epilfree works on anybody, any skin color, any hair color, because we're not working with light. We're only working with an empty follicle. And there are lots of people who aren't candidates for medical devices. And there are a lot of people who just don't want medical device. So this really opens up the door to a lot of people. If you're not currently offering Epilfree in your spa, it's really a no-brainer. So first of all, you don't have to have a medical director. In some states, you're required, if you want to offer laser, you have to have a medical director. You have to have special training and a special license. Needless to say, you do need extra liability insurance, and there's a cost of the laser machine to purchase or to rent the machine. And with Epilfree, if you have a license to wax or sugar, you can use Epilfree. The only thing that's required with us or with one of our other distributors. And we're also introducing a second certification for people who are using sugar. So if you're currently sugaring, you'll be required to take 2 trainings. This one, of course, is the one that really has the core of all of the treatment protocol. The sugaring training will be done by one of our professionals who is excellent at sugaring, and it'll be like a 1-hour training only going over the protocol. So she won't be going over all the different things I'm going over today. So anyway, so Epilfree, one of the things that makes it so different from the other treatments for permanent hair reduction is that it leaves the skin better when you're finished than before you started. So one of our ingredients that's in it is called Lady's Mantle. I'm just going to tell you about this one ingredient. All of the ingredients, of course, are herbs and are natural ingredients are naturally derived. But this one ingredient is so amazing. It's an anti-aging miracle, preventing cell damage. It's excellent for curing eczema, stings, and bites, assists in keeping the skin tone, has antioxidants that get rid of free radicals, ensures skin elasticity is maintained. It has styptic properties for healing wounds, keeps the skin conditioned. It's a natural preservative, and it decreases hair growth. So that's just one ingredient. It's called Lady's Mantle. If you've got kids who are always outside getting stings and bites, it's a great oil to have on hand for that. In the introduction pack, there is a list of our ingredients for Part A and a list of our ingredients for Part B. And I suggest that you keep those in your spa handy. If you have people who come in that you're talking to about Epilfree, they'll ask you what's in it. So that's a great time to offer them the ingredients to read over. If there's somebody who's suffering from an illness of some kind and they're not so sure if they should be able to do it, of course, have them take those ingredients to their doctor to look over. And needless to say, in the last 15 years, I've used Epilfree on about everybody and with no issues. So in the ingredients, we have one list that's the ingredients for the activator, and we have one list that's the ingredient for the toner. So I suggest that you take those out of there, print them up, and keep those handy so you can provide those to people. So in, which book am I in? Why am I even in these new books? Because I'm so, okay, whatever. Anyway, forget this. I just have to do this on my own. And the Epilfree, we're going to kind of compare it to laser so you have kind of an idea. In the introduction pack, there's a little comparison chart that compares Epilfree with laser, and it says all the things that Epilfree can do that laser can't do. So we're in that category with laser, IPL, and electrolysis. And as I said earlier, the difference is that we're not a medical device. Epilfree is considered a cosmetic, so we're not regulated by the FDA. We are registered with the FDA, but we're not under their regulation. So first of all, Epilfree is suitable for all hair types. So laser doesn't work on blonde, red, gray, or vellus facial hair. And the reason for that is the way that laser actually works. Laser has to see color in the shaft of the hair, and there has to be a contrast between that color and the skin color. So what it does is actually heat up the melanin that's in the hair shaft itself, and it kills the follicle. Epilfree, however, works on an empty follicle. So this really opens up the door for way more people. So basically we need that hair out of the root. Our serums go into the empty follicle. Our first serum goes in and opens the follicle 4 times its natural size and begins to stop the duplication of cells at the bottom. And our second serum goes in and literally stops the duplication in the base of the live antigen cell follicle. And because of that, that follicle will never work again. So basically, every time you give someone a treatment, any hair that you treat that's in an anagen phase, as long as you're following the protocol, those hair follicles will never work again. When they come in for their next treatment, any hair that you treat the next treatment, that hair is never going to grow back again. Next treatment, same thing. So it's a process of elimination. The same thing, same way laser gets rid of hair. You just have to come in over a period of at least probably about a year, maybe a little bit more than a year, and consistently have whatever hair is present treated. And it's just a process of elimination. You just eliminate enough hair that you don't have to worry about it anymore. So Epilfree is also suitable for all skin types. So laser doesn't work on a dark Fitzpatrick. So Fitzpatrick is a professional scale, counting from 1 to 6. 1 is the lightest color skin, 6 is the darkest color skin. And laser or IPL don't work on the darker Fitzpatricks, but electrolysis does. So there are different options for people depending on what they're interested in. But again, with electrolysis, they actually electrocute every single hair follicle, and every human being has upwards from 2,500 hair follicles per square inch of the body. So with electrolysis, it's very tedious. A customer comes in for like a 15-minute appointment, and they can do a tiny bit each appointment. So needless to say, it takes years to really get rid of all that hair. And it's quite a painful and expensive process. So Epilfree, because it doesn't have to see a contrast between the 2 colors, like electrolysis or IPL, works perfectly on every skin color, because again, we work on an empty follicle. It's also, we don't have a minimum age to have Epilfree done. So if you have a customer has a child who has hair issues, unwanted hair issues, you can certainly get rid of that hair to help make that child more comfortable in their life. Epilfree too is suitable for all parts of the body. So we have 3 different kits that are designed specifically for certain areas. And the reason for the separation is because the skin in different part of the areas are different thickness, different sensitivity, stuff like that. So this is what our kit looks like. Oops. So this is our facial care kit. And inside this pack is somewhere between 40 and 50 treatments. So there are 40 full faces in here. But when you mix that up with eyebrows, chin, so say you have a few customers only come for eyebrows, a few customers just come for lip or chin, you're going to get somewhere between 40 and 50 treatments out of this box. Another thing too, eyebrows can easily be treated with Epilfree. It's not recommended to do brows with electrolysis or laser. So that's another big reason to have your customers using Epilfree. So the facial care kit, they look like this. This one's about half used because I use it for demos. This is serum A, this is serum B. As I said, serum A is the activator. That's the one that opens up the follicle so that serum B can go right into the base of the follicle. And serum B, when it goes in there, it goes all the way to the base of the follicle and stops the duplication of cells. So one of the cool things about Epilfree is that we manufacture every 6 weeks. So every 6 weeks, we make a fresh, huge batch of Epilfree. So we don't have warehouses sitting someplace that have Epilfree sitting in bottles. This product is all natural. Any preservatives that are in it are natural. We don't use chemicals to keep the colors consistent. We don't use chemicals to stop the product from coagulating. We've opted for all natural for specific reasons. So the ingredients that are in here are all natural ingredients and herbs, and it's the exact combination that works on killing the hair follicle. So whenever we add anything or we think to add anything, we've got to start altering things, and it changes the formulation. So since this gets manufactured so often, you may notice when you get your kits that this is one color and this is one color. They could both be the same color. They will change colors over a period of time. And part B will probably get some coagulation in it, but none of these changes affect the efficacy at all. The efficacy remains the same. So the facial care kit is designed specifically for the sensitive skin of the face. It also comes in a little package with little pumps because it's designed to treat tiny areas like the face. And this would be a waste to use on anything else because the skin, of course, is so different. So the facial care kit runs $249. And we have a kit for intimate areas. This is our intimate kit. And the intimate kit is designed for the thicker skin of intimate areas. So everything is designed according to the skin and how the Epilfree penetrates, how it works on the certain areas, and also the area. Beata Jasiak is just entering, Laura. And also for the size of the area being treated. So the intimate areas are all really small as well. So these are designed to be used on small areas. They're also designed to go through the thicker skin of the intimate areas. So those areas would be the underarm, around the nipples, we call it the happy trail. It's a line from the belly button down on women that tends to get hair or sometimes discoloration. It works, the intimate is for around the anus and the whole Brazilian area. I said underarms already. And also, if you have a gentleman who would like his hair removed from his scalp, you would use the intimate care kit there. The scalp happens to be the thickest skin on the whole body. So this is designed to penetrate that thick skin and work on small areas and that are intimate. So you'll see like these are different colors than the last ones. So in every training, I tell people that the colors can change or they can coagulate a little bit, but people still call me to be sure. So it doesn't affect the efficacy at all. The intimate kit has 40 full Brazilians in here. And when you start breaking up the intimate areas like underarm, rear end, different things like that, you're going to get 40 to 50 treatments out of this kit. That's a lot of treatments, you guys. The intimate kit runs $349. And this is our body care kit. As you can see, it's much bigger. It's made for larger areas. There's A and B. B is a different color. I have some new activator A's that just came in, and they're really light too. So this is what the B looks like, and you can see some coagulation in there, which is perfectly normal with our formulation, but it doesn't affect the efficacy of the product. So this is designed for the large areas, all the areas that are left, the whole back, chest, arms, legs. It's designed for big areas. There's a sprayer on A so that you can cover those areas. The viscosity is so smooth to spread this. So they're designed again for the area that you're treating. In this kit, you have 40 backs, 40 chests, 40 sets of legs. When you break that down to half legs and different treatments like that, it's somewhere between 40 and 50. So when we start talking about pricing, we'll also be talking about using this on people who are bigger larger than average to make sure that you're still getting your profit out of your Epilfree kits. So the body care kit runs $549. So if you're going to purchase these one at a time, which you can, we don't have any minimum orders. It would cost you $11.57 to purchase all of them if you purchase them one at a time. We do offer all three of them together as a back bar. Again, a back bar is for treatments in the spa for $997. So we knock $150 off right off the bat when you buy the full back bar. Your profit from there is somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000, depending on the demographic of your spa, which you're the only one who can figure that out. But we do have a price add-on table that we'll go through when we do pricing. That'll kind of give you an idea how to charge for Epilfree. Okay, so the Epilfree also is free of side effects. We have since 2006 until now, I think we've only had 2 or 3 people sensitive to it. One person was allergic to lavender, and that was just last year or the year before, I think last year. But basically, it has no side effects. So it can cause pigmentation. It can cause burning. There's no contraindication with the sun. So you're free to do anything you want to, as long as the protocol is followed. So again, comparing that to laser, if you're a Fitzpatrick 1, 2, or 3, which are the 3 lightest colors, and you're getting laser, you can't have a suntan. So, so the summertime is bad for you. If you're one of the darker Fitzpatricks, there's a really good chance for pigmentation, a really good chance for pigmentation from every Fitzpatrick actually. And there's always a chance of burning the skin too. So if we're going to pick which one would have the least side effects and be the easiest one on your skin, not only does it not burn the skin or change the skin anyway, it leaves the skin better after you finish it before you start. It's basically a pain-free application, and it works over tattoos, which is great for those of us who happen to really like tattoos. So there's a big difference between the Epilfree treatment and the other solutions that are available in this category in the fact of the side effects and the treatment itself and the duration of treatment. I mean, it basically takes this about the same length of time it takes for laser. So most people are finished around 12. Some people can even take up to 20. It just depends on the person. So as we talk more about the protocol, I'll talk more about that. So anyway, here's the ingredient list look like this. There's 2 of them, one for the activator, part A, one for the toner, part B. And I suggested that you print those up and keep those in your spa, because when you talk to people about them, they're going to say what's in it. They'll ask you what the active ingredient is. The answer to that is there is no one active ingredient that kills the hair follicle. It's the exact combination of herbs that go into the follicle and stop the duplication of cells. And that's the most important part of it. When we start doing the protocol, you'll see that we don't want to alter anything about the skin once we begin, because we want all of our herbs to do their job and work well. In the ingredient list, there is one ingredient that I want to bring to your attention. So for retail resellers and people who purchase retail, regular day-to-day customers who aren't professionals, they have a safe ingredient list in the retail market. So in cosmetics, skincare, different things like that, there are certain things that, that are suggested that people don't have in their products. So one of those ingredients is in our activator, and I want to explain to you how it works and what it does there. So what our activator does is when we pull that hair out of the follicle, we have the empty follicle, the activator goes right into the follicle and it expands the follicle 4 times its natural size. When this happens, at the same time, it begins stopping the duplication of cells in the base of the follicle. So it's getting it started for our part B. And the ingredient that's in there that is on the don't use list is called sodium hydroxide. Now, sodium hydroxide is used in a lot of caustic products. It's used in a lot of products, period. But what it's used for and how it's used in Epilfree is it's used to raise the pH of our activator. So when we're mixing up the formulation, say I'm just mixing up the formulation right now, sodium hydroxide is actually a compound element. So it's two elements, water and salt, which are harmless. When they're hooked together, though, water and salt, which are both natural elements, form the compound element, sodium hydroxide. So when we're mixing our formulation, the sodium hydroxide goes into the formulation. The moment it hits it, it splits into its two original parts, which are salt and water. That's what raises the pH. So it raises the pH of the Epilfree somewhere between 8 and 9, which is exactly what we want to open that follicle. Once those two particles or two elements separate, sodium hydroxide is no longer, it does no longer exist even in the formulation. So when the formulation is tested afterwards, in the product that you purchase, there is no sodium hydroxide. So I'm going to run through it one more time. I like to do this twice just to make sure you get it. Is someone going to ask you this? I don't know, because in the last 15 years, I've only been asked about this 2 times. And those are both in the last 3 years, which people have become more conscious of what's in products. So the sodium hydroxide goes in our formulation as sodium hydroxide, compound element. When it hits the formulation, it splits and it becomes separate. It's separate elements, salt and water. When it splits, however, it raises the pH of our activator somewhere between 8 and 9, and that's what we need to open that follicle the way we need it. In the end product, the product that is purchased by the professional, sodium hydroxide is non-existent. So it doesn't actually exist anymore. So if you have any questions about that, I think it's pretty simple to figure out. So I'm going to begin going through the protocol now with you. And I love our new training material. It's so awesome. I spent days on the computer with Abigail in South Africa putting these all together. And there's a list of how it compares to laser. And it's a long list. It works on all hair types, all skin types, all ages, all genders, all areas of the body, no side effects, pain-free, no pigmentation, no sun damage, safe for tattoos, 100% natural, 100% hygienic, cost-effective, time-efficient, scientifically formulated, in-salon professional treatment, permanent hair reduction, added skin benefits, tested to use on sensitive skin, never tested on animals, chemical-free and non-toxic. That's a great positive list of attributes of Epilfree. So the treatment itself is really easy for you guys to do, but there are some protocols that have to be followed. And if the protocols are not followed perfectly, there will be an issue with the treatment. So it's as simple as that. So that's one of the reasons that we make sure everyone is certified, goes through this training and knows exactly how to use Epilfree, exactly what to do, because there are little tiny things that have to be addressed. So I'm going to kind of go through a summary of what the Epilfree treatment looks like. And what that would be, first of all, the first thing you're going to do with your customer is a consultation. The consultation is probably the most important part of the whole treatment. In the consultation, not only do you explain everything to your customer, but you're also going to get the right mindset for you and for them. So we never have an issue with Epilfree itself working on anyone. The only thing that we do have an issue with periodically is the mindset of the provider, because the customer doesn't know anything about this treatment until you explain it to them. So whatever mindset you have, they're going to get from you. So we want to make sure that your mindset is properly set before we start. So the first thing you're going to do is the consultation prior to your customer coming in. Whatever area of the body they're going to be having done, we're going to ask them to cleanse that area with a gentle cleanser an hour before the treatment. So if they're doing their face, you want to just have them wash their face an hour before the treatment. No lotion, no makeup, no nothing on the face, no oil, no powder. On the body, if someone's having their legs, or any body area, you're going to ask them to take a shower an hour before the treatment. Just use soap and water, no lotion, no deodorant, no oil, no powder, nothing on the skin at all. So we want the skin perfectly clean. If they can do it an hour before the treatment is best. It takes about an hour for the skin to go back to its natural pH level, which is 5.5, after being cleansed. You will have some customers who want to come directly from work. What a lot of our professionals do is help them make a little pack to take with them to work with just a general cleanser, so they can wash their face before they leave the office and at least get a few minutes under their belt. So if someone comes in with their makeup on, you can go ahead and cleanse that off, and then if possible, just have them sit for 10 or 15 minutes. You're still going to get a good treatment, but I want you to get the optimum treatment. So the more time they have before they come in after cleansing their face, the better. When they come in, you're not going to do anything to the skin. No pre-wax. You're not going to clean it. You're not going to wipe it off with water. No witch hazel, no alcohol, no nothing, because anything applied to the skin now is going to affect the pH and going to change the ingredients that are in Epilfree. So we only want clean skin and Epilfree and wax. So the wax that you're going to use is going to be a wax without rosin, no rosinate, no resin. And we'll talk more about that. There are a lot of waxes in the marketplace now without rosin. A lot of companies are developing it, also because of Epilfree. We have a lot of people looking for the appropriate waxes to use with Epilfree. So you're going to wax the area. You're going to put on activator A at the right time. Then you're going to put on toner B at the right time. For 6 hours after the treatment, your customer has to leave that area alone. So your customer, we don't want them to work out. We don't want them to go to the beach, go swimming, put on makeup, put on deodorant, put on lotion, nothing for 6 hours. In fact, even after you finish, your customer, if they're a little sticky, you're going to just have to give them a big hug and send them on their way, because we don't want you to clean that up either. So we want you to just finish the treatment and leave it, and have them leave it for 6 hours. So anyway, I hope everyone who's on here today is totally paying attention to the training and not trying to do two things at one time, because the literal part of the certification that we're going to be talking about now is really important. And occasionally we have people who tell us they're not getting a good result. Once I sit down and go through that with them, I find something missing in the protocol, whether it's the wrong type of wax, they're not changing gloves, whatever. We find some little thing about it. And it's a shame to have your customers go through lengthy treatments and then find out that you're making a mistake. So I want to make sure everyone is paying attention to what we're doing. So as I said before, the most important part of the treatment, I believe, is the consultation. So in our new pack, I'm looking through our new pack, there's so much cool stuff in here. There is a client consultation form. It's all on one page. So you can take this apart, or you can take this page out. I don't know if you guys can see it. There it is. And print this out. You're going to have your client fill it out. Basically, their first and last name. Oh, you can tell they made this in Africa, name and surname. It's so funny, all the countries have different ways. They, I forget what they call their providers. I'll think of it in a minute. What is it, darn it? Oh, well. First and last name, date of birth, their cell phone number, email. Oh, therapists, that's what they call their professionals instead of estheticians, or they call them therapists. Please answer all the questions. Has the Epilfree result expectation been explained to you? So that's what we're going to be talking about to them. Do you understand the Epilfree expectation? We're going to talk to them about that. Are you able to do the 6 hours aftercare protocol? So that's a big deal. It's best if they come for their appointments later in the day, so they don't have something planned, especially if they're in a hot climate and they're doing underarms or something that tends to perspire. It's better if they do them later in the day and stay in air conditioning. Do you have a health issue that we should know about? So that's basically any type of any health issue that they have that they think might be a concern. Are you on hormone replacement therapy? That's a biggie, because if you're doing work on someone who is on HRT, 9 times out of 10, the testosterone level is really high. I'm speaking about a woman, of course, instead of a man, but, and it will produce facial hair over a longer term. Are you having hormonal imbalance? Do you have PCOS, which is polycystic ovary? Do or did you have Botox done? So if there's an area that you're treating that they've had Botox, the result will be 30% less. Do you have a physical illness that you feel that needs to be discussed? Are you pregnant or breastfeeding? So if somebody has an illness, I'm going to tell you, over the years, I've treated people with everything, thyroid, cancer, without having an issue, but I did have them take the ingredients to their doctors. So a lot of times they just want to talk about something. You may have people who say, I'm really sensitive to everything. I'm really afraid to use it. I'm afraid I'll have a reaction. So if you have a person like that, I suggest you just take a little drop of A and put it right behind the ear, put a little drop of B behind the ear, and give them 24 hours to see if they have a reaction. So even though we don't have that happen very often, it always could happen. Are you pregnant or breastfeeding? So basically, anyone you would wax, you can use Epilfree on. So you wouldn't wax someone's face if they were on Accutane. You wouldn't wax someone's legs if they were having varicose vein treatments. So anyone you would wax anyway, you can use Epilfree on. The only people we ask you not to treat with Epilfree would be women who are pregnant or breastfeeding. And it's not because it's dangerous, it's because the owners of the company, the 2 gentlemen that own the company, have asked us not to. So if something would happen during that pregnancy, they just don't want to be in the mix. So I'm going to explain to you the expectation of Epilfree and how it works. This is also in the new training manual. So I have other ones of these, but I want to use the ones that are in the training manual, the new manual. So you have this in the training manual, and this is the cycle of hair growth. So this is a really important bit of information for you to teach your client. You should be able to do your consultation in 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, but don't do the treatment without doing a consultation. First of all, it's really important that the customer has the right mindset, that they understand what's going on. Over the years, I've been watching the laser business, of course, because I'm in the Epilfree business. Two things I've heard from people who have laser is I had laser and it didn't work, or I had laser and my hair came back. So first of all, this has everything to do with the provider, the person doing the treatment. So if you're doing the treatment and you're properly trained how to talk to your client about it, what verbiage to use, your customers are never going to say I had Epilfree and it didn't work, or I had Epilfree and my hair came back. So when people have laser done, the hair that's treated with the laser, as long as the person is a candidate, it works on every person. And the hair that's treated doesn't come back. So Epilfree works over the same time zone, but it just works in a different way. So these are the cycles of hair growth. This is the anagen phase here, and you guys have this in your booklet. The anagen phase hair right here is the live follicles. It's alive down here. It has oxygen, it has blood, it's attached to the body. This is a live follicle. That's the only one we can kill, and it's the only one laser can kill. So the hair, when we treat it, the hair that we can stop is the hair in the anagen phase. So when the hair is waxed, 4 to 6 weeks later is when the most anagen hair is present. So that's the best time to do the treatments, and that's the recommended time. But there are people who want their treatments sooner, or that you'll need to do sooner, which we'll talk about that. So this is the anagen phase. That's the live hair follicle. The next phase is called the catagen phase. The catagen phase, the root has separated from the hair shaft. There's no oxygen there, there's no blood there, there's no life there. This is starting to go into the resting phase. This is the telogen phase hair, and the telogen hair, and the hair can stay in this resting phase anywhere from 2 weeks to 20 years. So I've researched this so much so that I would understand this and have understand how to have you explain it to your customers. So if you Google the hair cycles, what you're going to read mostly is the hair cycles of the scalp. So the scalp hair cycles in a different way than the hair on the body. Also a little differently in terminal hair areas, which would be the beard, the underarms, and the intimate areas. So that's terminal hair. So more hair is growing more of the time. But on the body, the hair can stay in a resting phase for a really long time. So this is great information for you to teach your client, because in my experience, an educated client is the best marketing tool you could ever have. If you explain this to your customer and they understand it, they're going to tell their friends about it, their family. I mean, it's interesting information. It's way more interesting than COVID. We've been COVIDed out here, and it's something new. People will be talking about the treatment. So every human body has 5 million hair follicles. That's one thing all of us share who are on this recording today. But it doesn't matter if we're men, women, tall, short, our race makes no difference, our ethnicity. Every human has 5 million hair follicles. So depending on your size, you have upward from 2,500 hair follicles per square inch. So on my scalp right now, I have probably 100,000 hair follicles that are working at a time. On the scalp, there's basically on average scalp, 100,000 hair follicles. Okay, so let's multiply 100,000 hair follicles on my scalp times 5 million hair follicles all over the whole body. So if they were all working, I would look just like my dog, or maybe hairier than my dog. So it's really obvious that on the body, the face and body, most of the hair is in a resting phase most of the time. It's obvious. If it wasn't so, we would be way hairier. Now, there are men who have a lot more body hair. There are women with more body hair. I mean, it varies between people, but none of us look like Sasquatch, which is basically what we look like. So the way that this works, as the hair rotates in and out of these cycles and stages of hair growth, the hair that we want to treat, that we treat once a month, the anagen hair that we treat will never grow back. So we do the first treatment. And after the first treatment, between 4 and 6 weeks, we do the second treatment. Any hair we treat on those 2 treatments is never going to grow back. The hair that you're seeing is untreated hair. They're going to come in for their 3rd treatment. That hair that you're seeing is untreated hair. So I think it's really important that you're using the correct verbiage with your customers as well. When they come in, don't say to them, wow, look how much hair came back, because that's implying that the hair came back. That's really not what happened. So you can say, wow, look at all the untreated hair. I have the, oh, wow, look at how much untreated hair we have to get rid of. Something like that. Because when you say, look how much hair came back, it's basically sounds like the hair left or that you treated it, but it came back. So I think that's really important as well, to use the right verbiage with your customers. During the treatment, after the treatment, when they come in a perfect world, we would do the first treatment. The next one would look like less, the next one less, the next one less, till there was no more hair. But it doesn't work like that for everyone. And in fact, it can look quite different. They can come in for their first 5 treatments and have it look the same the whole time, which is fine. The hair that you're treating, that you're seeing in between treatments, are untreated hair. Keep in mind how much hair you're actually trying to get rid of. That's really a big deal. So after you finish with their consultation and they have the idea what it's going to take, then you're going to proceed. So if somebody says to you, how many treatments do you think it's going to take? Honestly, we don't know how many treatments it takes on each person. The average, if you're treating people once every 4 to 6 weeks, the average amount of treatments is between 10 and 12. Some people might take up to 20, just depending. If it's a hormonal customer, like somebody with PCOS, hirsutism, something like that, it could take a lot more. So we do have a separate protocol for hormonal customers. And after we finish this one, I'll go through that one. So basically, I lump every hormonal person into one category and just call them PCOS. But it will include polycystic ovary syndrome, hirsutism, Cushing's disease, and a lot of other issues that'll cause women to have unwanted hair. And basically the PCOS protocol is geared for women who've been shaving. So the protocol that we're doing right now, that I'm taking you through now, is the protocol you're going to use on every person: transgender women, men's beards, men's scalps, every person, every area will have the same treatment. It'll be, or the same protocol. You'll be able to tell them, I'm not sure how many treatments it'll take, could take more, could take less. And not only are no two people the same, no two areas of the body are the same. So we have a spa in Aspen who's used Epilfree for a number of years. And the esthetician there sent me a picture of a woman's underarms. And she goes, my customer's really upset because her underarms look just like they did when we started. And that was at treatment 5. Well, she had previously had her legs done, and her legs were finished after 5. So when she was doing her underarms, and at 5, it appeared like it did in the beginning, she felt like it wasn't working on her. So that's why it's important for you to realize, first of all, that no two areas of the body are going to respond the same. No two people will respond.